private. Okay. Since my account is private, this is obviously only going to be for those who are a current follower. So this is also going to help me with my whole seasonal social media purging that I do. Every blue moon, I do a gutting, I do a purging. Just on GP, especially, once you discover what's been going on with you, what people have been doing, blah, blah, blah. Now we're going to have a discussion. I'm going to possibly put this video on another platform. So we'll just see how it goes. Okay. The title, as you coming into the live or hoovering the live, because again, I am aware that one of the TikTok features is something can come through your news feed, and or you can hoover over a live and they'll say something like, to participate in this live, tap on the screen so you can participate, blah, blah, blah. So essentially, if you all don't know this, many of you who are content creators yourself, you may have a whole lot of viewers that are not official viewers because they're hoovering your live. Okay, you can watch a whole live without tapping on the screen and joining it. Okay, so anywho, those of you who are decent, good folk, for whatever your reason is for hoovering, I'm really only talking to you. Okay, I'm going to energetically and quantumly make it clear that I am communicating on behalf to honorable viewers, followers, and subscribers. Honorable, sincere, period, point blank, as it pertains to honorable and sincere towards me, who I am, and what I do, and what I create. Okay? And those who are just new and, are just sincerely curious. Okay, that's that. Now, the title says, make yourself comfortable. This is a phrase that I love. This is a phrase that's often used in the hospitality industry, the service industry, the helps industry, and by friends and family, people you visit, it's a common phrase. Make yourself comfortable. I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to feel at ease. I want you to feel like you're safe. I want you to feel at home. I want you, all of those things. And those are beautiful phrases. And the undertone of that is, hey, you're welcome here. I want you here. That's the undertone. That's the undercurrent. That's the throat chakra must be still clearing a lot. You guys, I've been working hard on my throat because my throat and my root chakra has been under severe assault. And, the throat is the seat of manifestation. It's the seat of awareness. It's the seat of truth and all that. So you can see why that would be attacked. Root chakra is how we feel safe in this world. It's how we stabilize. It's how we ground. It's about safety and security, which is where we build anything from. So when you have people after you, you can see people embodied and disembodied, human and unhuman, seen and unseen. Okay, and in some cases, it's conscious and subconscious. Because some folks are not even realizing that what's driving them is not pure. What's driving them to conspire and do harmful things to somebody, or sabotagery things to somebody, or even just trying to pigeonhole or limit someone. The driving energy is not pure. The driving intentions and motivations are not coming from a higher consciousness. It's not coming from anything benevolent, whether they are conscious aware of it or not. That's the sad part. The sad part is there are folks who are really convinced that they are doing something correct, um, which is concerning for me. It's concerning for me, and just as a person, as a human, and for the human race, and for, it's concerning because it's like, ugh, like folks really, like what's that? What is that? And do they apply that to themselves? Because that's the table turn and flip. People's attitudes often change because they themselves don't want, would not want to be on the receiving end of some of the very things that they feel is something honorable and good to do when it is not being done to them and theirs. Okay. Now, that's not what this is about. We're going to continue to talk about the statement, make yourself comfortable. Have you ever wondered, especially those of you out there who might be people who have been scapegoated, black sheep, targeted, whatever you want to call that, okay? And we're doing away with the labels. We're not reinforcing these labels. We're simply talking about what our experience has been and what we have learned and can learn and glean from the situation, the experiences. Have you ever wondered why you would deal with folks that would imply and would say to you, yes, I want you to feel at home. Come, make yourself comfortable. Come. I want to assist you and support you in some kind of way. I want you to feel safe. I want you to feel like you can breathe and let your hair down or take your wig off or whatever, the case may be. And then you get in, whether this is for a visit, whether this is a vacation with somebody, or whether this is an organization, whatever the case, family, whatever the case may be, and you get in. And the moment you start to behave like you're comfortable, the moment that you start to exude that you are making yourself comfortable, that you're getting at ease, whether it is you're finding your space, you're finding your quiet space, sitting, you're sitting back, maybe laughing, or you're taking, you're utilizing, I'm going to stop saying taking advantage too, because the taking advantage could have a negative connotation depending on our mindset at the time. So let's say you're utilizing what they welcomed you to do. They welcomed you to do that. And haven't you ever wondered why the moment you start exuding that, next thing you know, there arise some issue from small, ranging from minute to big, the moment you actually do start to exude, the moment you do start to exude the fact that you are getting comfortable. Now play with that. Why? Let me give an example. They'll start coming to you with made up problems, made up issues, or they'll just be a bugaboo. Like they have to come in 5 and 6 times in under 2 hours to, air quote, check on the place. Okay? They told you to make yourself comfortable. They told you they want you to feel at ease. They want you to feel safe. They want you to feel like, you can breathe. They want you to feel all those things. And then as you're attempting to adjust into that, and maybe as you're adjusting into that, and as you're starting to feel that, then somebody get the the itchies, the walkies, ants in their pants, antsies. They need to check 5 times in 30 minutes, something. And that's because, again, and initially you may say to yourself, like most normal, grounded, relatively sound folks would go, oh, okay, we'll let it pass. The first few times, like, okay, this is nothing intentional. This is this person. or these people, this business, this group, this whatever the case may be, this family member, just at first, you'll let it slide. But then as it persists, the more comfortable you attempt to adjust and make yourself, let's say you go outside. Let's say they got the walkies. And let's say for you, you're just looking for some solace. You're looking for some privacy. You're looking for some autonomy. Especially if that's something that you haven't been able to have for whatever reason, whether it has been your living spaces and situations haven't permitted it, or whatever has happened. And so maybe you're just looking for a space where you can be left the fuck alone. Meaning space, given space to be within yourself without somebody, hoovering around you, busy nothingness, pretending to be doing something. Okay. So let's say you make the adjustment and you go, okay, because again, like I said, normal folks aren't going to jump to the conclusion that somebody is intentionally trying to bug or disrupt. So there's going to be a series of patterns before you even get to the thought that, okay, I thought they said they wanted me to make myself comfortable. I thought they said they wanted me to feel safe and feel like I can breathe and all of those things. I thought they said they wanted to help. They wanted to assist. So as you attempt to adjust around whoever that is, they are, and like I said, let's say you go outside. Let's say in that instance, you have a space where you can go, okay, everybody's got the walkies, kids, everybody all of a sudden needs to be right here. So I'm going to adjust. I'm going to change. I'm not going to make a mountain out of a molehill. I'm not going to make a big deal of it. I'm not going to make a fuss of it. I'm honored that I'm here, and I'm simply going to make the adjustment and move my body to a space where I can get the solace, where I can get, whatever, some comfortability, some quiet, some solitude, some privacy. People that are up to something always have an issue with someone who wants privacy. This is something I'm starting to learn too, because they would imply often that if you're not up to something, why do you need privacy? But privacy is normal. No one wants to be under constant scrutiny or constant surveil. To be with yourself. It's not always about hiding something, but the fact folks who are up to something by being in your business, by being up in your face, by being in your space, by feeling entitled to have an eye view of you, who feel entitled to know what you're doing, which is narcissistic. Okay? They project that energy and imply that you are up to something because you want your privacy. Sometimes you're just wanting to be in your own energy, especially if you don't really get that. You may have kids, your life situation, your living space situation, whatever the case may be. Just close it. Push the red button.
Oh.
The red button.
I got it.
So what of it? What do we do with this? And the reason why I'm sharing this is again, food for thought. And this is, in my opinion, this is how we start to cipher between things, people's words and the vibe they actually give and their actions. Okay, their words versus the actual vibe they give and the actions that they take following words. Okay, the actions that they take or that they fail to take. Okay, just depend on the situation. Because listen, if somebody really wants you to feel comfortable, to make yourself comfortable, to make yourself at home, they're going to, first and foremost, when this is sincere, they are maybe going to ask the questions like, I want to give you your privacy. If they're not sure, but they're going to consider themselves because of what they would want. People that are in tune, people that are discerning, people that are knowledgeable, if they know about your situation, let's say they know that you've been in some kind of a tragedy or in some kind of a domestic violence, in some kind of a trauma, in some kind of a, ordeal to where your life has been compromised. Then in this case, they want to be gentle. They want to, as virtually possible, because they realize that it's not about them. Listen, this right here is not about me. I'm okay in my life. I am fulfilled and I'm doing other things. So whatever's going on with this person, this is not for me to get some kind of fulfillment. This is not about me. I say I'm extending some kind of care and help and assistance to this person, whether it is I am welcoming them for whatever reason, for whatever length of time, whatever this is about. So it's not about my emotions. It's not about what I want to get. It's about me allowing what I said I want to allow. If I want this person to have ease of mind, I'm not going to be bugging them every 3 and 5 minutes unnecessarily. I won't be making up issues to have a problem with every 5 minutes. As they are attempting to get comfortable and do those things, I'm not going to be bombarding them. I'm not going to be being nosy as they attempt, their comfortability within reason. Of course, it's within reason, all things with a grain of salt and all things with balance. But some people are just downright nosy and entitled to know people's business. And in some cases, we already have discovered it's because they have ill will and hidden dishonor. And in some cases, they're informants. Make yourself comfortable. There are folks who want the title and the recognition of being a great hostess. They want the title, the recognition of being someone who is a philanthropist. They want the title, the recognition of someone that's discerning and caring and compassionate and empathetic and sensitive. They want the title and the recognition as someone mature, as someone woke, as someone that's enlightened. They want the title and the recognition as a leader, as a teacher. They want the power, the title and recognition. They like what comes with being known as a philanthropist. They like what comes with being known as somebody who is giving to people. They like what comes with it, being viewed as somebody like that. But some folks, when triggered, when activated, if they are not truly self-aware and introspective folks who are developing past this material world from the inside out, if the object that they have welcomed to make themselves comfortable If the object, if the being is one that for whatever reason is ruffling something about them, is activating something, is rubbing up against something, for whether the person intended or not, and whether they themselves are conscious of it or not. If that's there, that's when you're going to get the nitpickies. That's when you're going to get somebody that's overcorrecting. That's where you're going to get somebody that's overstepping their bounds. That's where you're going to get somebody that's going to start giving uninvited advice. That's when you're going to get all of those things. That's when you're going to get folks who they get the ants in the pants, the antsies. They say make yourself comfortable, but come to find out they're uncomfortable with you being comfortable. And some folks start passive aggressively pulling for straws to just do anything they can do. I mean, it could be something as small as just, any and everything they can do to annoy and irritate you. That's when you know, once you have established that there's been a pattern, whether the person is conscious of it or not, but that's when you know they're actually not comfortable with you being comfortable. Because maybe you feel being comfortable helps you to self-heal. Maybe you being comfortable helps you to tap into your creativity. Maybe you being comfortable helps you glow and grow. And maybe they subconsciously don't really want you glowing and growing past them, or in ways that they don't approve, or that they just, whatever the case may be. Maybe our comfortabilities, sometimes we discover that they don't really want us comfortable because our comfortable makes them uncomfortable. This is the targeted individual story all day long, because everything that goes on in the entire little, circus show is at its core just to make the target uncomfortable. I mean, sure, it's more insidious and more involved, layered, and deeper than that. But at the end of the day, at the core basic foundation of it all, it's to irritate and annoy the target. And that goes in alignment with uncomfortable with you being comfortable. Because people who are comfortable with you being comfortable are not being paid to annoy you. Are not paying people to annoy you, or are self-aware of themselves to realize when their behavior is coming from a space of they're uncomfortable about something that they're not dealing with as it pertains to you. Maybe you tap into your confidence. Maybe that exudes in your comfortability. And so a part of trying to make you uncomfortable is hopefully to rattle your confidence. I wonder, is there a way? Let me see this. I want to know, is there a way? I gotta look into these new features here because I want to be able to share like all like the video and how it shows the people who come in. I saw somebody um, manage and share your live replays, highlights, huh? Share recordings with guests, share recordings with moderators, share highlights with gifters. Okay. Um, mark viewers, muted accounts, blocked accounts. Uh, I'm gonna have to look into that. I think there's some kind of way that you can do that. Um, but anywho, make yourself comfortable. Make yourself at home. And as you do that and attempt that, then comes the patterns of behaviors to disrupt it. The truth of the matter is, more often than not, a lot of these folks are not comfortable with you really being comfortable.